Boom. Salutations. Wanted to kind of address something that is pulling, again, a couple of videos together and making sure that it's being addressed, because these are fast blasts, so it's just taking it to another level and trying to draw a few things together, and something that keeps coming up I keep hearing about. And this is the praying mantis during encounters, and people encountering the praying mantis, and it's got the hood and it's disguised itself as the Green Reaper, is what people often think it is. And I find that absolutely fascinating, you know. And regarding myself, I'm always got an interest in those encounters involving insectoids, because I myself had a lifetime encounter I had as a child with Insectoid I've showed you before, but by the name of Xandar, but actually I'm Yandar, and it was telepathic. It's just being here. The reason why that's not the right uniform. This here is the right uniform. I'm going to get the other one printed off, but that's the uniform he had on right there. Anyway, but what I wanted to say, as far as what I encountered, it was not a praying mantis. This being looked more like a grasshopper. It didn't have the deal like that. It had limbs that were more proportional to the size I was, around 7 or 8 years old. All right, so it's a smaller individual, but not the praying mantis type of form. All right, so that's the difference there. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is in kind of pulling this together from another video I had done, which was over the praying mantis and the Uranta book, and suggesting possible is some of these praying mantis beings some type of what the Uranta book calls life carriers. Is that one type of an evolutional shell that they have for their consciousness, a container for their consciousness possibly, at one point of their evolution. So that's just food for thought, all right? And especially when dealing with the concept of the black praying mantis, the melanin dominant praying mantis that is of melanin and has to do with melanin, and how many people have experienced them, and even hybrids from the black praying mantis, which is fascinating, all right? And talking to someone like Robin McClendon, a contactee, says she's had experiences with these black praying mantises, and they operate more on the EM magnetic frequency. That's fascinating to me. So food for thought, if nothing else, on that. But going back to what I want to say and ask, is it possible that some of these praying mantises are life carriers of some type? Is you have several of the people that have encountered the ones that have been like, 12 feet tall, 15, 20 feet tall, these huge ones that say that they are actually the seeders of solar systems, and they seeded this solar system, and that's what they do. That's kind of the function of what the Uranta book calls a life carrier. I find that fascinating, all right? And some of the people, a lot of people that have encountered these praying mantises talk about how they've got this light coming out of their mouth, or light coming off their head. Their heads are glowing, or light coming out of their mouth. That's just very interesting when we think of things in terms of consciousness. So that's kind of where I'm bringing that up, and at what point it is this holographic technology and the influence that they do consciously, these beings do consciously through our optic nerves, and how that can actually change what we're perceiving anyway. So it doesn't take much, but there's a connection between these praying mantises and the Grim Reaper, which starts going into the death process, and are these in fact beings that are doing what we've heard, which is actually trying to harvest souls to put into clone bodies and dealing with clone bodies, and how far we're dealing with beings that are existing as more thought forms as opposed to being as corporeal as we think of it. So they're manipulating things into copies of clone bodies. That's very serious when you're looking at that and these containers of light that a lot of people have seen associated with these praying mantis beings. So this is food for thought, you know, keep this in mind. Real quick, hitting my notes. I think that's the food for thought that is need to be given here, definitely. I think somebody I did a couple interviews with, Jessica Jones, that does Into the Portal, really cool show, and she's that Bigfoot researcher. She's like part of 3 research groups, but they all go out in the wilderness with their equipment. They got high-tech equipment, so it's stuff like that, you know. And she was talking about how she'd had experiences with praying mantises that had on hoods like that, and they looked to be Green Reapers. So it keeps coming up again and again with people I'm dealing with in the contact experience. And I think it just needs to be enlightened a little bit and looked at a little bit more, especially when dealing with the melanin dominant black praying mantis and the people that said they've experienced that. So that's drawing all those things together, drawing those videos together, food for thought. Do the research for yourself. Please put a like on that. Smash a little button. I wish I could get it to pop up right there, but smash the little like button, share the video. I appreciate all the people on Patreon that have encouraged me to go on one of these videos to be released. Thank you. Much love to all of you, and energy.